Luna Harrison was in the midst of performing one of the hardest tasks that she'd ever undertaken. She was the only living grandchild of her grandfather, Adolfo Harrison, and she was charged, along with her father, also named Adolfo, as was every first male in their family for hundreds of years, of going through, separating, and deciding what to do with his belongings. It was especially difficult to her because she had been summoned by her grandfather while he was on his deathbed. But her plane had been delayed and she'd missed seeing him by a mere 5 hours. They'd always been so close. Her dad had been an only child as well, as had her grandfather. So because of the limited amount of family on her father's side, they always made time for holidays and birthdays. Both her father and grandfather had traveled for work, so it was always made even more special when they could all be together. She'd only just flown from New Mexico to Seattle to start her summer job as a camp counselor when her father had called her to tell her that there was something urgent that her grandfather needed to speak with her about. And she'd missed him. He was gone by the time she arrived. Her father, known as Dolph, met her at the airport and solemnly gave her the news. She'd asked him if he knew what Pops had wanted her to know, and her father had slowly nodded his head yes, but explained that she'd learned the details while they cleaned out his home. Sadly, that day was today, when they arrived at the Harrison home, which was large and ornate. She began putting boxes into the expansive kitchen. Adolfo had a full-time staff on hand, but of course, they'd all left his employment when he passed, and nothing had been touched since then. As she began opening cupboards, her father requested that they set their sights on Adolfo's office instead. So they went upstairs into that room, carrying several large empty boxes with them. Luna's father asked her to start with her grandfather's desk, a large oak desk, hand-carved by her great-great-grandfather. Luna had always found it to be creepy with its carvings of wolves' heads howling at the moon. She opened the drawer that was centered on the desk, where her grandfather had kept coins to hand to her when she was just a little girl. Laying on the very top was an envelope, cream in color, and written in her grandfather's handwriting was her name. She looked up at her father, who was watching her intently, almost expectantly. She opened the envelope and she began to read. Dearest Luna, if you are reading this, then I am truly sorry that I wasn't able to speak to you in person. My dearest granddaughter, what you will read here is between us. You must never speak of it outside of your father, your firstborn, and their firstborn, if you are ever able to live so long to be able to do so. And here is a story which will almost assuredly be horrifying and surely feel utterly unbelievable. But I promise you, dear Luna, that it is all true. Luna, our story began thousands of years ago. You've no doubt heard legends that have turned to fairy tales about a species so great, so majestic that others have been terrified of us, and we have even been hunted down and killed. To us, we are known as Bays, an ancient society called upon to worship the moon. We are always to remember that the moon is what guides us. It controls our bodies. It controls the water in the greatest of oceans. It controls our minds, and to Bays, Luna, it is in us to know with every strand of our being that we are special. We are a great and large family that is spread across the world. We are kings and we are queens. We are emperors and we are presidents. We are amongst the finest of the finest and we are rulers. No president ever sworn in has not been a bae. No congressman, no judge, no mayor. The world is truly at your feet, Luna. When the night is of a full moon on your 18th birthday, your blood will surge with your ancestry. Your heart will beat with the beat of 1,000 of others, in sync, and you will be able to see and hear and smell and taste the world around you as if you have never had these senses before. You will, for one night each month, gather with your kin and run amongst the trees. You will deepen your sense of family. You will share the raw meal of your catch, and you will worship the moon of which you have been named after. Go, my dear child. Live your life with the proud sense that you, too, are majestic. You are bae. Love, your grandfather. Luna looked up from the letter, and her father walked towards her. Werewolf? She stuttered. Luna. That word is a fairy tale name given to us from peasants to try and take away our greatness. We are much more than that. We are a secret and revered society. We are bae. My 18th birthday is tomorrow, Daddy. Yes, Luna. And after midnight tonight will rise your first full moon. I feel afraid. I'll be right there with you, my dear, as will your family. Just then, she could hear the massive front door downstairs open, and in came the quiet footsteps of many, the footsteps of the baes coming to her in her grandfather's home.